Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Yeah.
We love to take these deep dives, and today we're headed straight into, well, a real-life mystery. This one's got it all: suspense, intrigue, you name it.
Yeah, this one's really got me thinking too.
It all went down in a small town nestled in the French Alps back in 2002.
Peaceful, quiet. You know, the kind of place you picture on a postcard.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so unsettling. It's like something out of a home invasion thriller, but it's all too real.
True crime at its core.
We've got some fascinating excerpts here from Tex Cale. This case, it's called The Man Without a Face. It sends shivers down your spine just reading about it.
Chilling stuff.
Seriously. So picture this, a peaceful town, folks, going about their lives, no worries, then boom, everything changes.
Yeah.
A string of crime starts and fear takes hold.
It really makes you think how fragile that sense of security can be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So before we get into the nitty-gritty, can you set the scene for us? Paint a picture of this town before everything went sideways.
All right, so imagine this. The French Alps, stunning scenery, right? Mountains and valleys, fresh air.
Sounds idyllic.
It was idyllic. People trusted each other. They'd leave their doors unlocked. Kids would play outside until the streetlights came on. You know?
A real sense of community.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost hard to believe that a place like that could become a breeding ground for such terror.
Okay, so let's talk about the crimes themselves. What exactly happened?
Well, it started small, at least relatively speaking. A few burglaries here and there, nothing too out of the ordinary.
But it didn't stay that way.
No, it didn't. Things escalated quickly. We're talking violent home invasions, people tied up in their own homes, threats whispered in the dark.
The source material mentions a black ski mask. The intruder always wore one.
Right, always masked. Striking at night, isolated houses, it's like something out of a nightmare.
Talk about terrifying.
Hmm.
And the police, they had no leads at first, right?
Nope, they were stumped, found fingerprints, but they didn't match any records. The town was on edge, and the lack of progress just fueled the fear.
I bet. Did it start to tear the community apart?
Oh, absolutely. People were scared. They didn't know who to trust anymore. Neighbors started looking at each other with suspicion. Some folks even formed vigilante groups patrolling the streets at night.
So they took the law into their own hands.
In a way, they felt they had to. The police weren't getting anywhere, and someone had to protect them.
Makes sense in a chaotic situation like that. But there was a turning point, right? Something that gave the investigators a break.
Yeah, there was. During one of the attacks, a victim fought back, actually managed to wound the intruder.
Wow, that's brave. But what did that do for the investigation?
It gave them something they desperately needed: blood evidence.
Ah, so DNA.
You got it. Now, this might seem obvious today, but back then in 2002, DNA analysis wasn't as widespread as it is now. It was still relatively new technology.
A game changer, though, right?
Absolutely. That blood sample they got, it allowed them to create a DNA profile of the suspect. Finally, they had a solid lead.
And that lead took them to Jean-Luc Martin.
That's right, an ex-military man.
Interesting. Could his military background have helped him evade capture for so long?
It's certainly possible. The way he planned the attacks, his movements, the way he seemed to vanish into thin air, it all pointed to some level of training.
So we've got our man ex-military capable, but why? Why terrorize his own community?
Well, when they finally apprehended him, Jean-Luc Martin confessed. He laid it all out. Years of feeling abandoned by his family, rejected by the army. He felt betrayed by the very institutions he dedicated his life to.
And that led him to lash out.
It seems so. He felt disillusioned, angry with society as a whole, and his own community became the target of his rage.
I guess it makes you wonder if there was something more, something specific to the town itself. Was it random, or was there a deeper personal grudge fueling his actions?
It's hard to say for sure, but you've got to think there had to be more to it than just general societal anger. He chose his victims carefully. It wasn't just random acts of violence.
It's chilling to think about. So Jean-Luc Martin, he stood trial. He was convicted, right?
Yeah, he was sentenced to life in prison. Justice was served.
But what about the town? How do you come back from something like that?
That's the thing about trauma. It lingers. Even after the threat is gone, even after justice is served, the fear, the anxiety, those things can stay with you. The town slowly started to heal, but it wasn't easy. That sense of security, that innocence, it was shattered.
A permanent scar.
You could say that this case, it really underscores the importance of mental health resources, especially for veterans. These men and women, they serve our country, they put their lives on the line, and when they come back, they deserve all the support we can give them.
Couldn't agree more. We can't just forget about them when they come home. We owe them a debt of gratitude, and that includes making sure they have access to the help they need.
Exactly. We need to create communities that are truly supportive, that recognize the signs of struggle and reach out a helping hand.
That's a powerful message. And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thank you for joining us. If this case has left you with questions, or if you're interested in learning more about crime prevention, mental health resources for veterans, or even the psychology behind criminal behavior, we encourage you to do your own research.
There's a lot to unpack here and a lot to learn.
Exactly. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.
And remember, even in the darkest corners, there's always hope.